Hello and welcome to the Milan Talk podcast. I'm your host, Samik Paul, and our great run of form goes on as we secured a 3-1 win over Parma on Wednesday night. In this episode of the pod, we'll look back at some of the key moments in the encounter, player ratings, and some of your reaction on Twitter through the game. But as mentioned, let's kick things off with the key moments from the game itself. I want to start with Parma's goal and the initial issues that I had with the build-up to the goal, starting with Lucas Biglia. Now, it's a surprise in itself that he was named in the starting lineup. You understand that Pioli is rotating, he wants to rest players, and Benacer was one of those rested. But with Krunic sitting on the bench, and when you consider the lack of match fitness and practice that Biglia has had this season, I thought that was a questionable decision in itself. But it was proved correct as well with the opening goal, and just his inability to track the run into the box for the assist, and the space that he leaves in between himself and the ball, which allows that ball to come across into the box, and you can see Kurtic making his way. And he eventually hammers it home and gives Parma the lead. So that's just Biglia's issue again in the build-up to the first goal, which is why I think we will see the last of him this summer. He will move on when his deal expires. That's just something that really cost us in the build-up to the first goal. But also looking at this second image, Romagnoli's lack of effort, should I say, in his blocking. We saw this last week as well, and it's something that he has to address and work on. Yes, he's standing tall and making himself big, but you want to see a bit more bravery and a bit more intensity from your centre half there, diving in to block that shot. We saw something similar from Simon Kjaer in the second half, made a crucial intervention. I think it was Kulusevski's effort which hit the crossbar. Kjaer got a deflection onto that and forced it away from target, if you like. But Romagnoli just standing off and making himself big isn't working for me, and it gives Kurtic the space and time to kind of get that shot off. And he makes no mistake and buries it. So just two minor yet major points in the build-up to the first goal, which I was kind of disappointed in. But fortunately, it didn't prove to be decisive and it didn't cost us. And that all started with Frank Kessie's absolute wonder strike. It's difficult to really obviously do it justice with an image because I'm not able to post a video of it, but just the trajectory. You see players in his way, the swerve, the accuracy, the power, the speed, everything that he gets on this effort is just exceptional. And it's just an absolutely unbelievable strike. And we needed that. We needed a lifeline. We needed something to get us back in the game, get our momentum going. And he produced that moment of quality that we needed to really get us back into the game. And of course, that sparked the rest of our comeback. Again, next image, just impressive that we actually managed to finally score from a set piece. I cannot remember the last time we managed to do so. We looked a bit more threatening from corners in this game, but generally speaking, we look hopeless from set pieces and corners in terms of a goal threat. But on this occasion, great delivery from Çalhanoğlu, really, really good delivery into a dangerous area. And as you can see on the image, Romagnoli's already making himself space and brushing off his marker to get that header in and put it in the back of the net. He actually does really well to finish it. It's a great finish, but it starts with a great delivery and a top finish from Romagnoli, which gave us the lead. And there was another key moment before Çalhanoğlu's goal to kill the game, and that was Donnarumma's save on Roberto Inglese. Now, this image, for me, you look at this image and you wonder, this has got to end up in a goal. You've got so many gaps that he can expose, whether he drills it across goal, into the top corner, wherever, you're probably going to bet that he's going to bag this and put it away. But Romagnoli pulls off a brilliant save. That's at 2-1, critical point of the game. And as I mentioned, just moments later, Çalhanoğlu goes on to score our third goal and secures the 3 points. But it's all well and good, and it's easy to kind of praise the goal scorers and the team as a whole, and you forget the goalkeeper and the defenders at times. But Donnarumma, as he has proven on countless occasions since his breakthrough into the team, he's capable of producing these major moments in games, and he did it again on Wednesday night. And then just finally, Çalhanoğlu's goal, great work from Bonaventura in the build-up, not only in just kind of keeping hold of possession and breaking forward, but also to pick his head up and to spot Çalhanoğlu's run. Acres of space, as you can see. Great run from Çalhanoğlu to actually get forward into a dangerous position and put himself in that position to score. And he absolutely drilled his effort into the back of the net. It was a great finish. But just looking at the picture as well, you can see Theo looks disappointed that he's made a run. It's not been picked out, but he's doing his job in terms of keeping two Parma defenders occupied. You've got Ibrahimovic dragging his defender towards the box. That ultimately creates the space for Çalhanoğlu to get the shot off on goal, and he makes no mistake as he absolutely drilled it home. So those are the key moments from the game. Just like I said, really, really impressed with the way we came back, the way that we showed character, personality, a winning mentality to turn things around in the second half. Old habits in the first half. I think we've seen that script many, many times before in terms of dominating at home against a team below us in the table, not taking our chances. That in turn gives them a boost in confidence and the kind of confidence to break and counter-attack and cause us problems. And then Parma obviously broke the deadlock and took the lead. We've seen that many, many times, and on many occasions we've not been able to bounce back and get the win. On this occasion we did, and that says a lot about the space and the mentality we've got in the team right now. So I was really impressed with that. As I mentioned, huge save from Donnarumma, absolutely crucial and decisive impact from him. Kessie was superb, not only in his defensive work but also his attacking play. I thought he was fantastic. And a bigger issue that I was going to touch on, with no Ismail Benacer, Samu Castillejo and Ante Rebic in the starting lineup, I don't believe that it was a coincidence that we struggled in the first half. I think you take away those three with their intensity, their urgency, their ability to play at a high tempo, that slows the team down in general, and I think that's why we encountered the same similar and familiar problems that we encountered in the first half. I think those three are very, very important, and I think, in my personal opinion, the first half against Parma was why we have to adopt this high press, high pressure, high tempo and intensity style of play that Pioli has shown us, especially when Rebic starts up top. I believe that's the way forward. I think that's more effective. We've seen it with top teams around Europe doing the same thing, and I believe Ranić will do something very similar if and when he arrives. But for me, I just think everything was too slow and sluggish after the first 15 to 20 minutes, and that's why we gave the initiative to Parma, and they were able to take advantage. That put the pressure on us to respond and do something about it. So that's just a key point for me, and something that I hope will be addressed moving forward. But we'll see just how much those three feature moving forward in the last 5 games of the season. But moving on to the player ratings, going to kick things off with Gianluigi Donnarumma. I've given him a 6.5. I think he played well throughout. But like I said, that save on Inglese was huge in terms of the fact that it was 2-1 at the time, and it was just moments before Çalhanoğlu killed the game. So Donnarumma, nothing new, continues to produce massive saves like that, and he's proven to be crucial for us. Conte gets a 5.5. I think he actually made a positive start to the encounter, but things gradually went wrong for him as the first half wore on. I think it's slightly unfair that you pin it all on him as well. I think he was let down by his teammates in terms of getting support, which left him exposed, so it didn't help, but certainly another shaky outing for him. Simon Kjaer gets a 7 out of 10. I think he celebrated signing his permanent deal in style with a brilliant performance, used his physicality and experience well, and produced that crucial block on Kulusevski, as I noted earlier. That was a big moment in the game as well, so really impressed, really solid. 7 out of 10 for Kjaer. Romagnoli gets a 6.5. Now, as I mentioned, disappointed with his defending for the goal. He has to get tighter in those situations, as we saw the same thing happening with Mertens at the weekend. But ultimately, he made up for that with his brilliant header to give us the lead and turn the game around. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him. I think 6.5 for Romagnoli. 6.5 for Theo Hernandez as well. I think he did really well in his duel with Kulusevski. His defensive work is really improving still. He had his moments going forward, but wasn't quite as impactful. But I think overall he was really important in our win, so 6.5 for him. And then the man of the match, Franck Kessie, 8 out of 10. I'm running out of positives and credit and praise to give him. I think he's maturing before our eyes. I think he's showing real quality in both phases of the game. Yes, he can be physical. Yes, he can be tenacious. He gives us that defensive protection in midfield. But his composure and his distribution in possession, and then, my God, his goal, brilliant and utterly superb strike that rocketed into the back of the net. My man of the match, and another fantastic performance from Franck Kessie. Lucas Biglia gets a 5. As I pointed out, lost his man in the build-up to Parma's goal. I think he did okay at times, but ultimately he just failed to impose himself on the game, as we know that he struggled with in the past. It was a rare sight to see him in the starting lineup. I don't expect it to happen again between now and the end of the season. But yeah, for me, Not a great performance, so I was disappointed with him. Rafael Liao I was even more disappointed with. I've given him a 5 out of 10 as well. Big chance, had a chance to make a statement in the starting lineup, and ultimately he failed to take it. Now, didn't look much of a threat on the right wing, and people are going to say perhaps that he's not comfortable on the right wing, so what do you expect? With his pace, directness, and his movement, you should be causing problems on any wing, and I think we needed to see more from him in this particular game, particularly when he's playing with Ibrahimovic up top too. They don't give us much, if anything, in terms of pressing and pressure in the opponent's half, and again, like I said, I think that hurt us, and that's why we struggled in the first half. So 5 out of 10 for Leao, 6.5 for Bonaventura. I think he did well. I think he showed some intelligent play at times, and then obviously he provided the assist for the third goal, which was crucial. I think he's still showing his value as he edges close to becoming a free agent this summer. Whether or not it's going to be enough to earn him a new deal remains to be seen. Hakan Çalhanoğlu gets a 7, assist and a goal from him. Delivered again. I think he's playing a pivotal role with his energy and hard work as well. Starting to find some consistency, which is crucial. It's eluded him for far too long. Still areas to improve, so I'm not saying he's perfect by any means, but crucial impact nonetheless. Ibrahimovic gets a 6 out of 10. I think he gets marked up for being a focal point in our attack. I think he offered some quality in his ability to bring others into play, but sloppy in possession on countless occasions, spurned some really good opportunities and got frustrated with his teammates. So yeah, I think it was a mixed bag from him, but I've given him a 6 out of 10. Calabria also gets a 6, moving on to the substitutes. Now again, I was surprised with him that he actually did quite well, giving us some fresh legs on the right, replacing Conti at half-time. Didn't really make any glaring mistakes defensively, so 6 out of 10 for him. Ismail Benacer gets a 6.5. I think it just highlights just how important he is for us at this point. Raised the intensity and tempo of our game as soon as he came on. Looked much more influential and impactful than Biglia. I just thought he was hugely positive in our turnaround in the second half. And then finally, Ante Rebic, 5.5 out of 10. I think he was a little sloppy in some dangerous moments. He added a bit more bite to our attack, clear threat, but he had a good chance, missed his opportunity, and probably should have done better, creating some chances for his teammates. So I think he'll be disappointed that he couldn't make more of a positive impact coming off the bench. So just moving on to some of your reactions during the game at half-time, first of all. Marvin Diaz at Marvin Diaz 619. Bonaventura really needs an extension. Guy's an animal. Also, Theo really needs to defend more. Romagnoli has been getting loads of heat lately, but every time a team counter-attacks, Theo is never there. It's a good point, Marvin. I think you make a great point in terms of the counter-attack and teams targeting that space that Theo vacates, and that obviously leads to the ball coming in from that side, and Romagnoli's not there to cut it out. So yeah, agreed. It's a shared thing. Should be doing more. And as I pointed out earlier, I think Biglia has a problem in that first goal as well. Brad at Spidey0816 says, sounds like the same old thing every time we play a mid-table and teams below us. Hope to see Benny and Rebic second half. Brad got his wish, and they both looked impressive and made a difference after they came on. But yeah, you're right. Like I said, it's a very familiar story in the first half that we've seen many, many times play out. But fortunately on this occasion, we got the result that we were looking for. Luca at LSD Italiano. Yes, I agree. Most disappointing half of football since the restart. Glad Conte is off. Looked unhinged again tonight, asking for a red card. Yeah, you're right. Again, some sloppy mistakes and sloppy fouls that he gave away towards the end of the first half. But yeah, really disappointing the way that we played in the first 45 minutes. So I thought Francis Obita at F Obita. Well, why did Biglia even start? Pioli is not serious. I can't disagree with that. It's a very questionable decision to start Biglia. And then Nick at Nick's Feed 75. Spot on assessment, familiar feeling. There was more positivity at the full-time whistle. Marvin added, these are the games we must win, and we had no excuse, and we came out big. Proud of the team. Jack needs to stay. He's still our best midfielder. Leao does better on the left wing, and come on guys, can we admit Calabria is our best right back and should start? Feel like I'm the only one who likes him. Agreed, Marvin. Jack is really proving his value. Depends on the terms of the deal, the financials, whether or not we can both agree on terms, but definitely making his presence felt and making an important contribution. Yes, Liao is more influential and impactful on the left, but you still want to see more from him regardless of what wing he's playing on. Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with you on Calabria. I think Calabria has had his moments as well. Looked very shaky, made some glaring errors. That's not to say Conte has been perfect. They've both been pretty terrible at times. There's no surprise that we're being linked with buying a right back this summer, so we'll have to see how that plans out. At Ifeanyi Po 8T, Romagnoli had a better performance than last match, but he still has a lot to improve on. Scored a wonder goal. Hernandez, Donnarumma, Kessie pushing for Milan Player of the Season. Again, agreed. Romagnoli, I'm hesitant to put too much of the blame on him again, but agreed. There's elements of both goals now in the last two against Mertens and the Parma goal where he potentially should be doing better in closing that shot down. So yeah, agreed with that. And those three are certainly emerging as the pick for the Milan Player of the Season. There'll be others, of course. Rebic will have a shout. A couple of others maybe in contention. Benacer, of course, as well. But you're right. Hernandez, Donnarumma and Kessie will certainly be up there. Marcus Anderson at El Mako 77. Biglia left the field, then we played some football and scored 3 goals. Says it all. Absolutely agree with your tweet. And then Mamang Dato at Axia _ we should have a better striker next year. Liao shouldn't be Niang version 2.0. Yes, we definitely need another striker this summer. Very intriguing to see who we actually bring in, but certainly an area we could improve in. And Liao, Niang 2.0, something that he was labelled with very, very early on, and unfortunately we're seeing some similarities and he's not doing enough to silence those critics. So we'll have to see how he responds moving forward. Right, guys, that's a wrap on the pod this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe and share if you enjoy the analysis and all the other stuff that comes with the pod. At Milan Talk 1 on Facebook and Twitter for more reaction and opinion. MilanTalk.com for loads more opinions and reaction to the game. Another big win, another important win. Got to keep this run going. There's only 5 games left now, so there's not much more to go. Roma and Napoli still ahead of us, only just in terms of Napoli. Bologna, Saturday night, next one up. Let's move on and continue this fantastic run of form that we're in. Until Saturday, Forza Milan.